Oh. Ow. Tungsten. ERISH 3 Pro. Gishelli Labs. And I was going to change this desk mat out because I used it in like 2 IEM reviews in a row. And I love it because cats and Japanese and purple and Blade Runner. And then I went and looked at the case that Sherry sent me and I'm like, oh, I guess I need to keep the desk mat. So this, I was looking for it. It's in here somewhere. I'm going to find it right now. No. ERISH. Let me explain what ERISH is. It's been a consistent part of the Gishelli Labs family. Whereas they've had the Archel, or Archel, and it's been their single-ended amplifier. And then on the other end of the spectrum is the ERISH, which is usually the one I gravitate towards because gravity, which is their solely balanced amplifier. So Gishelli Labs doesn't do one where it's got like a 1/4-inch output and a balanced output. No. You pick one. And this one, now that they've got up to the 3, we've got fucking op amps, and we've got all sorts of goodies inside of this. And do I have the page open? Let's hope I have the page open to read specs. Specs McGigger. There's ERISH 2. I have an ERISH 1. And ERISH 1 was surprisingly good at running the Modhouse Tungsten, which is currently on my cable here, the Purple Asylum cable. But ERISH 2 sort of like backed down because I started measuring and tuning, and they got rid of a lot of that high gain that was causing the measurements to be weird. But, you know, ERISH 1 is like ancient history. ERISH 2 came in, and everyone loves ERISH 2, $219. What you're going to notice with this one, the biggest change is the price, as it is $550 fucking dollars. So Gishelli Labs is no longer fucking around. They're like, we're going to just shove so much stuff in here, and it's going to cost you money, but you're going to get it. And if you spec it out, like this is currently the aluminum case, and I don't know if you could specifically ask for this because it's fucking awesome. But if you want to do aluminum, you have choices. If you want to do wood, you basically can add as little as 50, as much as 100. And then if you want the joints different, you could have it as little as 0 or as much as another 15. So you could add another $115 to this if you want to go full wood. Which I'm glad this is metal, because I haven't had a metal Gishelli project in a while. And a lot of the wood stuff, and I've got the wood stuff. It just tends to be bigger and heavier, which is fine. But, you know, light, smooth, clean. Not worried about scratching it. This currently has, and I love the way they, for some reason, the way they put the labeling on the back of the plexiglass is much better now. I know I have, like, lots of light to hit the corner and then illuminate that. You could also... There is a light internal, like there always is. Tour of the unit, because we're going to be talking about sound. We're going to plug in a couple things. I've got my Mark, are you the Mark 1 or 2? Mark 2 of the ERISH when I was building it. I've got these. The hell are you? You know what these are. I'll link them in the description. These are the Sivga P2s, P4s, P200s, something. Obviously tungsten. And the beautiful, these are the Dunu Zen Pros, which are my stethoscope to the audio world. So we'll see if this is a noisy amplifier. You also will see on the desk, I brought out the Raiden power supply because I had a theory. I wanted to test it. I wanted to see how many amps this was drawing because it uses the same power supply that almost all the Gishelli Labs stuff comes with, which is 12 volts, 2.1 amps. And I wanted to know if I hook up a massive bench power supply that's capable of 64 volts and 10 amps, could I tweak the power inputs to get more out of it? And the answer is no. I'm going to leave it there because it looks cool and I get to link it in the description. But this lets you actually type in, and I'm giving it currently 12.01 volts, and I've opened it up to 5 amps. But here's the problem. It never draws more than like, I think I saw 0.35 amps. So this runs tungsten here. Give me something thick. High gain tungsten, which you can max out 0.36 amps. 0.37. 0.38. That's it. So you can put a 500 amp 12 volt power supply in this. You can run a car battery to it. And it's just going to sit there and sip it for eternity. Where were we? What were we talking about? Tour. Unit tour. So you'll see the modified power supply there. We could actually just switch it back to the stock one. It's around here somewhere. These pig hog cables, which are really thick, are doing a very special thing, a thing I've been trying to do. Tor. This is not a Tor. The Tor. Voltage in, pre-out, signal in, big old volume knob, 4-pin XLR output, your only output. I wish it had a 4.4. Everything I do is 4.4. But it's just they'd have to redesign the board because there's not really enough space for it. But ERISH 4, baby. I'm predicting it on ERISH 4. I'm going to make this happen because I am obsessed. That's the best headphone connector. The only problem with it is when you plug it into things, it can ground out. And this, it can't because it just goes all in at once. So I am using this adapter. I think this is a FIO adapter. Zwee, Z-W-E-E. I'll link to that if I can, or any other numbers of adapters to go 4.4. You got 3 buttons. Nice buttons. Shelly Labs has always had those weird, like, push buttons that are, like, board mounted, and there's just a little black peg, and you hit them. This is where the money's coming in. This is where the money's happening. So you hold down for power off. There's your power button. Lit red ring. Love red. You get your light behind it. You could do that to switch between them. Leave it on purple, or in my case, I'm leaving it off because I've got so much extra light, doesn't need it. A gain, high and low, and a preamp on and off. So here's this. So, that's the tour of the unit. That's it. 3 buttons, a plug, a knob, inputs, outputs, power. Done. Those big old swans, which are the M5As, I think. I've wired them up. So there's one there and there's one back there. They're wired up to the pig hog cables, and this will be a permanent fixture on the desk now. So if I have something with a pre-out, instead of pre-apping to another, I can just be like, that's Jeff Buckley, Eternal Life, Road version. What else we got? A word of caution early in this video, in case you decide to buy this and not watch the rest of it. The gain switch does affect the pre-out. So if you're playing something, well, actually, the headphones don't stop when you turn the pre-out on and off. So if you heard this off, headphones are playing, you turn it on, headphones are still playing and still adjustable. You just are turning on and off that, which is fine so long as you're not running tungsten, which is at nearly max voltage, because if you have speakers, studio monitors, which is presumably what you'd have as studio monitors, plugged into the output of this, in other words, it's coming through, doing its thing, and then going out, and you're listening to tungsten loud on high gain, and you accidentally or purposefully switch on the pre-out, your speakers are going to get a lot of volume. So just be cautious about that. But if you're using it, if you unplug your headphones and just like... This is Michael Kamen's Little John and the Band of Merry Men. Band of Thieves. Little John the Band in the Forest. My bad. From the Prince of Thieves soundtrack. You know what? I don't play enough Prince of Thieves music. Everyone's like, Gladiator, Gladiator, Gladiator. But what about Michael Kamen and the Prince of Thieves? So I find with those speakers, having not adjusted the volume, because they do have digital volume, low gain, plenty. High gain, you can get to about 50%, and it's like, yeah, let's get too loud, so. This is a really good soundtrack. I am, of course, a huge proponent of Assault on the Tower from Michael Kamen, which you should all know, and I would make it my ringtone, but then I never pick up my phone. Oh. By the way, how the fuck do those speakers sound so good? Like, here's the thing. All those are bookshelf speakers. And you're never supposed to use a bookshelf speaker on a bookshelf because then it's tucked into a thing. But those seem to be working great in that particular scenario. Peralta's like, ah. So, this. We now know the functionality of it. It's pretty basic. You can switch a light. You can turn on and off. It automatically turns on with power. So if I just, let's say I turn this off, and then I turn off the power supply that's feeding it. And this is not a linear power supply, so I'm actually listening to it right now with a kind of noisy power supply. And I'll see when I do the IEM test. If there's noise, I'll swap. But if I just plug in power, automatically on, automatically doing its thing. Don't know if you could use that in your scenario. If you have like a smart power switch or something, like you turn on your monitor, it draws draw, and then it turns on all the other outlets. Before there was smart power supplies, there were smart power supplies. And that would be a cool little thing that you could like power on your monitor. It shows a draw, turns on the master outlet, turns on the other ones, turns this on with it. Let's get to the sound. So tungsten first and foremost, because when the one came out and it magically did the tungsten pretty well, I was with Ryan Dietz, who is the creator of the tungsten and the argons and all those, and you're like, wow, this is fucking amazing. And then the ERISH 2 showed up and it wasn't focused on having high gain. So we're like, kind of sad. But now the ERISH 3 has sort of brought that back. On high gain, I can run it at 3 p.m. and be completely satisfied with this. However, on quieter tracks, it tends to want to go all the way to maximum. There doesn't seem to be any clipping or distortion in the sound. At the price point of this at $550, if you're buying a $2,000 headphone, this is the double-sided, so it's $2,000, and the review is coming, and yes, that's the wood, and I'll explain why. But if you're going to blow $2,000 on this, and you're buying this specifically for tungsten, you kind of have a 50-50 choice. You can buy this, support Shelley Labs. I love them. I love the color. I love the wood. But I think a full-blown fuck you speaker amp with taps, you could probably do for $500 and get a little bit more out of these, a little more headroom on them. So it's not like the greatest amplifier ever for tungsten, but it will run tungsten. So just put that in your head, boys and girls. If you want to run tungsten, this is not a bad option. As far as everything else, we take this fucking off of high gain, because that's another thing. High gain, specifically there. I haven't had a need for it at all on anything else. Like, these are a big old planar. I really should remember the model number of it, but it's fine. I'm Zeos. I could just forget things. The link in the description gives you an excuse to check the description. Plug this in. I just had a weird brain moment where I'm like, wow, this is a video that I'm going to watch later, and people are watching it. So don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. LNR, we figured it out. Low gain. Like, I'm at 3. That'll kill you. That's a quiet song. Well, these headphones are going to get a review, and they're going to get a good one. There's a couple more things I want to play with, a couple more amps, and I want to do tubes on them, even though they're planar. Ooh. It tickles me on the inside. This amplifier tickles all the good bits in my ear holes. Not other parts of me. What are you, weird? Get out of here. Bear McCreary, Battlestar Galactica, Forgiven. Now, if I put this on high gain, yeah, it's like, and it's too loud. So, fucking powerhouse. Keep in mind, this is probably the most difficult to drive headphone on Earth. So we judge off of that. There is... All right, how do I describe this? So, without doing anything funky to the inside of it, this feels like a very linear amplifier. It just feels linear. It's not super warm Class A. It's not super wide tube sound. It's very linear, but then it's got this like... All right, I'm going to be very un-audiophile right now, which is why you come here. It's got this juice. It's got the juice. All right? It's like when you're cutting a steak, and then there's a little bit of juice, and you dip the steak back into its own juice and eat it. It's like you could just pick that steak up and eat it. Or you can pick that steak up, and then put it back into the juice and eat it. It's still the same steak. You've added like 1% more moisture to it, and that's what this does. Moisture. It actually kind of looks like a steak. From blue rare to medium rare. Sound, White Zombie, I just turned the volume knob up as White Zombie's Black Sunshine was doing like a fade thing. And that was weird because I was turning the knob and it moved over. And I was like, whoa. This amp has made me go, whoa, a few times. Now, other amps make me go, whoa. But this amp makes me go, whoa, in a special reason. I love the new volume knobs. God, they're so nice. I feel like the knob might be a little low. I mean, I'm running it right now, and I'm just sort of cranking it because I'm doing the review. But if I were to place this, like, up here on top of this SMSL A200, which has really cool VU meters, I'm literally just running this because it has VU meters. Yeah, this wants to be up there. In fact, it's probably going to be up there for the rest of the review, so I'm not staring down at it. And this is just... So now I'm on low gain. I'm using relatively easy to drive headphones by comparison. So I can turn the preamp on. Now I'm still hearing the headphones. The headphones are going up as I turn this. In fact, it's so linear with the headphones that I can't tell the speakers are on. So that's another thing you kind of got to be careful about. If you're running this and speakers through the pre-out and you accidentally put that on, you put it on and you forget, you're going to be sitting there with your headphones thinking you're just quietly jamming and your neighbors are just like banging on the fucking wall. Stop it! So just keep in mind if you're going to use the pre-out and you can sort of check. You'd be like, that's as loud as I'd ever take that. And then you put this on. And that's not going to cause damage. You could leave this plugged in and you could run your speakers because it doesn't really hurt your headphones to be running while your speakers are running. Although it would only be the case if you had super sensitive things, like we're going to plug these in next. Or actually, we're going to do you, baby, because ERISH, now on sale. Get links in the description. Hopefully they have enough when they come to Amazon. I know a lot of people didn't buy them from Linsol because there's like a $30 minimum shipping fee and then $50 to Europe. And they're like, I'm not going to spend $30 on shipping, which I bought a set. I went through the whole process to buy my own headphone because I want to know how it's going to be for the normal people, not just what Linsol sends me. So I'm going through it. Now I had to pay $30 for my own headphone to be shipped. And I'm like, fucking Amazon ruined me. Not only do I not pay for shipping, it's here the next day. And I got to wait. Bullshit. Anyway. Here's a $1,000 headphone cable. This is the Effect Audio Fusion 1. Because my babies deserve only the best, even though I wouldn't say this does much for the sound. But it looks cool, and they sent it to me, so it's going to be used. I have adapters on it. So this is, again, the precursor model, which still has the blue marker and shit. And there's tape inside, and I wrote all over it a marker, and it's disgusting, and there's no Z logo. But it sounds roughly the same. So let's put this up now. Oh, preamp is on it. Well, oh yeah, I definitely can't tell because of the reduction. The volume knob is nice and linear. Like you get all the slight, like from here, like it's just a little bit of a variation to the right. And then it's like barely loud. It's perfectly centered from there, that point on. So they use a good pot. Like that's as loud as it needs to be perfectly centered. Ain't no one. My concern will be when I go on the super efficient IEMs. I haven't tested that yet. It's not one of those YouTuber things where I lie about it. No, I haven't plugged those in yet. And we're going to find out if the non-linear power supply causes any noise. High gain on these, because these are real efficient. These are 32 ohm. Remember when I said I test these drivers to see if I could destroy them? Yeah, no, you could just use them as a Bluetooth speaker. These are fucking dumb headphones. Anyway, powers my ERISH perfectly fine. Thank you for Effect Audio for sending out this mega expensive cable, which look how nice it... See, I feel like you spend money on a cable and it's like, I want it to be a nice cable. Look how nice this flows. I don't know if it's worth $1,000 to get the flow right, but I got to give it some praise, even if the sound is exactly the same as every other headphone cable. The only time a cable, and I'll keep repeating this because people seem to think that cables make no difference. Let Short Cadenzas 12, $2,200 IEM. I tried using a cheaper cable, the 2-pin, because I used my collab cable, I used another cable. It sounded like shit. So that's the only, all I needed was one use case where I plugged a different cable in that was cheaper or lesser quality, and I was like, oh, I'm disappointed. Oh, no. Literally changed my... Go watch the Let Your Cadenza review on... Did I put that on the main channel here, or did I put that on Inner Fetish only? I might have done that review twice. Either way, it disturbed me, my whole soul. Because once you hear it, it's like, well, now I have to keep that in the back of my mind that maybe a cable makes a difference. Luckily, that was a 8 ohm IEM that was super sensitive. So, of course, the cable made a difference. But normal headphones, like 32, like even if you add 1 or remove 1 ohm of resistance on the cable, it's not going to make a big fucking difference. Let's plug these in. So, I'm going to pause said music. Wallpaper available in the wallpaper hoard. I'm going to try it on low gain first. So I actually hear like a, when I'm turning the pot, I could hear an actual scraping in the left channel. I wonder if I could work that out. Because it's not a dirty pot, it's a brand new unit. But these IEMs are so sensitive. And the best part is when I get to the top and stop when I hit the limiter where it's like unlock. Dead silence. So now I'm going to turn on high gain. And there is, hold on, slight hiss, more hiss, and then when I max it out, there's only a hiss in the left channel. Keep this in mind, because this is not like, oh, Zeo said he heard hiss on high gain. If I tried to play these, this is what I'm going to do. Volume all the way down, I don't hear any hissing. Let me put on a quiet fucking song, just in case. System of Down is not quiet. Super bass, perfect. Not super bass like super bass. Well, here. Super bass as in this audiophile shit. Okay, back down, preamp off, high gain. So yeah, I would never take it past there on high gain. I don't know why you'd ever run high gain. Oh, my Lord. So you're never going to get noise. The point is you're never going to hear that noise. That noise is strictly for muted, paused music. High gain on a way too sensitive IEM. Then maybe you can pick up a little bit of like a shh. Actually, I didn't check this. So now we got to, hold on. Before we go on, where's the power supply? Where are you? Are you it? You're it. Oh, Jesus. The cable, has the cable been here the entire time? I'm fine. So we don't have to turn anything off. We will turn off that. Plug you in. Let's see if there is a noise difference. Stop. Gain. No. Less hiss. And at max, barely a noticeable hiss. So yeah, this is a noisy power supply. And the one that Joshelle Labs provides is not. So there you go. Claps, everybody. Yay! Power supplies make a difference in noise floor. I had someone tell me that they have the expensive IFI iPower power supply on their Joshelle Labs DAC, and it makes a huge difference. Problem is, the only IFI power supply thing I have is 9 volts, not 12. So unless he's plugging in a lower voltage, or maybe they make a 12-volt version, I can't really test. I may have to go up to my mezzanine. They have an IFI iPower on my mini DSP that I bought. But yeah, that's... Now we've got impressively low noise. So yeah, power supply was definitely adding noise to the situation. Not this thing's job to be clean. It's this thing's job to be like, I need 10 amps. Turn a knob. So yeah, use the stock power supply. You'll be better off. All right, we're going to take this off of high gain. Yeah. I didn't even detect, even with that noisy power supply, I didn't even detect fucking problems on low gain, which is where we're going to live with these. Oh. Sparkos Labs, the logo right there, which kind of bothers me that it's behind, it's the glass and there's like white connectors behind it, so you can't really read it. But there are Sparkos op amps in this. And I think they're swappable. Hold on, I'm going to try to look at this without destroying the entire world. You know what? I don't know if it has swappable op amps because it would be labeled on the page if there was. It usually would tell you. So let's see. We've got 4 Sparkos 2590 op amps, fully balanced end-to-end, ultra no noise power supply circuit. Preamp switch enable disable. 12-volt FCC level 6 power supply included, which is why there's a difference. The gain switch is unity gain or 6x. So high gain is 6x gain. Balance, 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 balance. Yeah, I don't think you could swap the op amps. They're probably just on the board. Which, if they were swappable, would be even more money because then you got to put sockets and then on top of that. So I'm fine with them being built in. You're getting fucking Sparkos. Again, 550 versus 220. The 3 has an upgrade path. Oh my fucking lord. Like, legit, oh my lord. So, I've had this out for a couple reviews, and I used it much with IEMs because I may have found their butter zone. More exaggerated than... Obviously, my ERISH has, like, crazy big soundstage, a lot of bass. So, picking up the differences in amps is subtle. And these are not subtle. This is a headphone I don't know well enough, and this can be powered, but it's not like... This is not the ultimate amp for these, so I've heard differences on this. But these IEMs, I know, like literally the back of my hand. Actually, if he said, how are there any moles or dots in the back of this hand, without having looked? You know what? I don't know the back of my hand. What the fuck is this bullshit? Who actually knows the... Like, there's apparently a 1, 2, 3, and there's a little faded one. Oh, there's a scar there from my cat Titus, Chewbacca's brother. Chewbacca never scarred me. Titus scarred me. But that's what love is all about. It's a little bit of permanent damage. Oh my fucking lord. Whoa. The energy. All right. I'm putting a declaration right here at this moment. Actually, I gotta get up and get another fucking IM. It's just too good for this IM. Like, this is... I know this IM. Better than the back of my hand, obviously, because I don't fucking know it's in the back of my hand. What's on this one? That might be the best it's ever sounded. Just for one song. One song! Because I know the fucking Super Bass album. And it's just like, it's jazz. It's... Hold on, wait. It's that. And it was happening in my ears, and it was just, oh my fucking... All right, you know what? Hold on. Can I reach that with the extension on this? Hold on. We're going for JoJo. Oh, I can't go for JoJo. Oh, I can go for JoJo. I got to change wires. So here's JoJo. JoJo's my $50 IM. So that's a $900 IM. And I can't run this because here's the other issue with ERISH. Or with ERISH, not ERISH. Don't get the ERISH and the ERISH confused, although you can use the ERISH and the ERISH together. The E's. You can't run unbalanced things. You can't. So if you own DT880 600 ohm and there's a 1/4-inch jack, there's no way to use this. Unless you use the line out and go to an unbalanced thing that has you can't use it. Which is kind of annoying, but this is what they've done, man. They've done the Archel, which is their unbalanced, and the ERISH, which is their balanced. So you have to know what you're getting into. By the way, I'm using my other... Because everyone needs a $300 cable for their $45 IEMs. JoJo deserved the best. Don't give me any of that bullshit. This is correct, right? Lord Almighty. Because you want to talk about an IEM that I know almost better than these is this. And let's plug this in. Same song. Let's keep that song going. Hold on. Oh, the preamp's still on. Copyright infringement button. That's the copyright infringement button. I actually need to, like, these are legit the easiest to drive IEMs. Is like one that competes with it. These actually take some power. Low gain there. Let's try high gain. High gain there. Oh my god, the bass response. Hold on, I'm shuffling. Richard Cheese is peeing into a bowl. I like being able to switch on music just for split seconds before I get copyright infringements. Just like... Definitely can't hear anything with these on. This might be the ultimate IEM amplifier. I love those buttons, by the way. They're considering they're mounted to plastic, which is a little bit of an issue when we get to the DayZ, because it's a flexible panel and it's got buttons in the middle and it's like a big fascia. Here it's fine. It's just so satisfying to press that. By the way, that's the 50 Greatest Hits of Opera Liboemi Osuovo Farasuila. And that's recorded like shit, but it's opera. More. All right, you're probably... I wasn't sure when I was going to pull this out or where I was going to use this. This might become a staple for IEM testing. God, that sounds fucking good. Techmaster, PEB. Techno House, one word. H-O-U-S. H-A-U-S? Don't forget to have collabs like the JoJo. And this, if you're more psychotic. And there'll soon be a Magia cable, so I could replace all of these cables with Magia cables. This amp kicks ass. It takes names. I was going to say it sucks butts, but I feel like that's too far. Just back it up. Back it up, CS. Don't say that out loud in a fucking video, you dumbass. No, this amp... They just keep... You could just tell he's got... If you lined up the ERISH 1, the ERISH 2, and the ERISH 3 Pro, and I think it's called the Pro because of the Sparko stuff inside, even though I don't think there's a non-Pro. So it's like, then why is there Pro if there's no non-Pro? Yeah, all they have is the Arkel 3 Pro, ERISH 3 Pro, ERISH 2 is still for sale, and the Arkel 2.5 XL, and then the Zuffa is I don't know if it's available. Zuffa is their big speaker amp. Load. Joshelli Labs, upgrade your site's server. It's slow. I can't spend my money fast enough. There you go. So yeah, that's their big amp. Eventually you'll have that, and that'll be hilarious because that's a 100 watt per channel like amp, which I hope. Here's the thing: I had to get one without a pretty wood box because that's a pretty wood box. If I want to stack them, I can't hide a wood box. That wouldn't make any sense. So yeah, and they don't have like a buy now on the Zuffa and the Daisy. There's no buy now. You have to like make an order because it's gonna take a while and they're gonna want to charge you. So yeah, the ERISH 2 was like, okay, we improved upon the ERISH 1, and the ERISH 3 Pro, it just went right past the normal one and right to fucking Pro, and it deserves it. Yeah, this is Texas Instrument based op amps, 4 buffers. This is the original ERISH 2. So you're definitely getting way less with it. I mean, one of the points was eight LED colors to choose from, which is irrelevant on the 3 Pro because you're just going to shut them off because it's just going to be beautiful to look at. So yeah, big round of applause for Joshelli Labs. Love those guys. I need to go back to listening to JoJo again, balanced on a $300 stupid cable that's stupid. Doesn't need it. By the way, did you know the JoJo's cable is aluminum, which isn't the greatest conductor, but contributes a bit to its soft, wide sound. So if you want to know what difference a cable can make, change to I don't want to say better cable, but a non-aluminum cable for JoJo, because I approve of the sound perfectly fine on this amazing cable. But then you try it on a different cable, and it's like, oh, that's different. Not worse, not better, different profile. But there's your cheapest fucking option to prove that a cable can make slight difference. I'm done, you're done, we're done. Wallpaper in the Wallpaper Horde. She's telling you to buy an ERISH 3 Pro. I'm telling you to buy an ERISH 3 Pro. And Roger Rabbit is telling you to buy an ERISH 3 Pro. God damn. Alan Silvestri. That sounds way better than it should for a speaker A behind a monitor and a speaker B tucked away in a thing, but maybe it's using the whole chat. Like I'm hearing this. What? Anyway, maybe I'll do a whole video on running every speaker on my wall simultaneously because I'm dumb like that. Anyway, Patreon subscribe to support this channel. A link to the desk mat if you want to see reviews early. Participate in yard sales, get to the lossless sound demos for speakers and headphones, including all the ones that have gone missing, and ask me questions in a monthly video, which I have to film. Fuck. Maybe I'll do it right after this because it's only like 6 questions. But I will hope that there's more questions that I can answer for $5 a month. $10 a month puts you in the private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat where you can ask me questions all the goddamn time. And you get into a lifetime swap meet channel to buy, sell, and trade gear. Oh, this is probably coming out before Can Jam London. This is coming to Can Jam London And the power supply will handle 220, so that's important for CanJam London. And I realize how I'm hooking it up. In fact, it's been sitting here this entire time, and I'm sure you haven't noticed it because you're not observant. I'm the only one that can tell you what's going on. Fuck! This is the Woo Phantom DAC. So it's basically, I'm going to have, it's RCA because I sold the one that was balanced because I'm a dumbass. But this has so much power, I'm not concerned. I'm going to use these adapters. Oh, that's another thing I should probably say. Even though it's completely balanced and it has balanced inputs only, you can simply buy these, Zeos Link these, which are converters to go from an unbalanced source like RCA to XLR. It'll be less voltage, so you get less power out of this, but there's so much gain on the high gain for most headphones, that'll be no problem. So as much as this is a purely balanced, if you fed it an unbalanced signal, you could still use it. In fact, that's how we're going to show it off in London. I'm going to give people access to this. I may have to get an iPhone one of these adapters, but you should be able to plug this into your phone and listen to anything you want on the ERISH 3 Pro at London CanJam, July 20th and the 21st, where I will be demonstrating my ERISH on the ERISH for 2 days straight. And thank you guys for supporting me, because that trip has cost me a fucking fortune. Like $3,000 in plane tickets from Andy and I, and then the table, we got a discount. It's still like $2,350. And then the Airbnb, I just have to extend an extra day, and that's $2,400 for that, but I'm splitting it, so I'm actually paid like $1,700. Oh my God, it's so much money. Please, thank you for support this channel. Buy a headphone, buy an amp, buy a desk mat. I appreciate it. Become a patron. So now that I've done this review, I got to take a pretty picture of this for the thumbnail. Bring this upstairs, place that on the table, and it's done. You want to hear it? Plug in your phone, boom, done, because this is like a $400 DAC. That's just a cable. Good, 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 good. I'm sorry for a 39-minute review, although I feel like it's more like 45, but I'm hoping it's 39. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye. My cat's screaming. I can't find my button.